Hello and welcome, guys. We continue talking about behavioral change and more precisely about why we don't do what we know we should be doing. So, in the previous video, I gave some reasons, and today we continue talking. And today we're going to talk about thoughts and assumptions and beliefs that can stop us from progress. Okay, so let's begin. First one is that thought that, oh, it's not helping me. Like, for example, you have depression and you know you should be doing behavioral activation, like you should be going for a short walk, you should be eating, you should be sleeping, and all that. You should be getting out of bed, and so on. And you have been doing it for several days, and then you think, like, oh, it doesn't help, so I won't do it anymore. Argue against this idea, find arguments against it. For example, like, I cannot see the future. Maybe right now it's not helping yet, but the effect of change can be accumulating. So it's kind of like, it's accumulating, and you might not see change for a while, but after some point it accumulates enough that it leads to massive change. Things happen like that quite often. So you don't know the future, you don't know if it's effective or not. You just continue doing what you should be doing, especially if it's recognized mental health advice proven by science to be working. Like, for example, if you're taking antidepressants and going to therapy, maybe it's not yet working, but you should continue doing it, and it can accumulate and actually make you feel better. Or exercise, maybe it's not making you feel better when you first started, but accumulating, it makes you feel more energetic, happier, healthier, and so on. So this we can argue with, that I don't know the future, maybe it will help. So it helped others, it helps most people, so I should just continue doing it. Next idea that can stop us is this idea that, oh, it wouldn't lead to global change. Like, yes, I can eat something, like, yes, I can go for a walk, but it won't cure my depression, it won't lead to global change. It's just one drop, it doesn't change much. To this we can argue again that all the big changes can be separated into small changes, and there is oftentimes no other way to change something but by doing small steps. Of course, we would always like to have some magic pill that makes huge changes in our life on its own, but it's very rare. Much more often, we change things doing small steps at a time, and each of these steps is extremely important, and there is no use in undervaluing each of those steps. It's much better to tell yourself that no, each steps matters, each steps brings me closer to the goal, and yes, it doesn't bring the result immediately, but it contributes to the bigger goal, and sooner or later it will come. Okay, what else can be stopping us? Is this idea, oh, but I feel too tired. What you can argue against it? First of all, you can kind of convince yourself to do behavioral activation. Like, yes, I feel too tired, but I can at least get out of bed and eat something. Anybody can do it. It can be difficult and tiring, but I can still do it. Even if I feel too tired, it's not that difficult. It's not like I have to exercise for an hour or something like that. Or if you feel too tired, you can still find some kind of energy to brush your teeth. It's just basic. So you can tell yourself, like, yes, I feel tired, but I do this tiny thing. I can do it even if I feel tired. And secondly, how you can argue with that, and in general with this argument, when you don't feel like doing something, you can just get used to not paying attention to how you feel. Oftentimes, especially in pop psychology and so on, we oftentimes hear that it's so important to be sensitive to how you feel, and so on and so on. but in some cases it's not good. In some cases, extra attention to how you feel can actually limit your activity. Like, for example, you feel depressed and you are extra attentive to feeling tired and unmotivated and like you don't want to do anything. And because of it, you stop doing certain things. And this actually makes you feel worse. Or if you feel anxiety and you avoid things that cause this anxiety to get worse, again, it makes you just get deeper in this anxiety. So sometimes it's really useful to not pay attention to how you feel. Even if you feel tired or you feel hungry or you feel sleepy, you can still do certain things without paying attention to how you feel. Even if you feel headache, you can still do certain things. Even if you feel hungry, you can still do certain things. Even if you feel upset, you can still do those. So extra attention, extra care about how you feel, extra like over protection of your sensations and feelings and over attention to those is not helpful. In some conditions, especially if you have anxiety, depression, and other similar like mental health conditions, listening to how you feel is harmful and not helpful. So instead, what you're going to do, you're going to ignore how you feel and still do what needs to be done and not pay so much attention to how you feel. This is, by the way, oftentimes happens when a child get a lot of attention about their feelings from the parent. They learn that their feelings are so important and their actions depend on their feelings and how they feel. But in reality, our feelings are just feelings. You can ignore them sometimes. You can continue doing things even if you don't feel like it. You can just accept them and tolerate them and not change your way of living just because you feel a certain way. And you can still stay consistent with your routines, with your habits, with your goals, with your tasks, even if you don't feel like doing something. So it's delicate balance. You don't want to be a dictator with yourself, but you also don't want to be that overprotective parent who's like, oh no, you feel tired, just stay at home, don't do anything, take care of your tiredness. It doesn't always help. What else? What also can stop us from doing what we know we should be doing is not getting rewarded for what we've done and not kind of accepting that we did something. Like, for example, you did eat something, you did do some exercise, but instead of telling yourself, like, well done, good job, you start criticizing yourself and saying, like, oh, you didn't do it well enough, or I got too tired when doing it, kind of like seeing all the disadvantages about it and not seeing any benefits. You should also argue with that. Like, yes, I feel tired doing that, but I will rest and it will go. It's okay. I feel tired, but tiredness doesn't matter so much. Or, yes, I did it not maybe perfectly, but that's fine. My task was just to do it, and doing it imperfectly is better than not doing it at all. What else can be stopping us? Mm, Also, what you should remember, next idea, is that when you choose to do something, it doesn't only influence your actions or your emotions or your physical state of being, it also influences your assumptions, beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world. So, when you decide not to do something, you are adding proof to your negative assumptions about yourself. Like, if you avoid exercise today and you decide not to do it today, you are adding negative experience to your perception of yourself. And this reinforces negative beliefs that you might be having about yourself and the world or other people. On the contrary, if you still do something even if you don't feel like doing it, it gives completely new experience and creates the basis for changing your beliefs about yourself. Like you can start believing that you actually are a courageous person, that you are actually strong and disciplined and dedicated, and so on. So this is also very important. Pum pum pum. Yeah, more or less. So now what I want you to be doing for your home task is you take all those kind of ideas and you analyze your behavior that you want to be changed, and analyze what kind of ideas will be trying to stop you. Like what ideas normally stop you, and you write them down. They might be the ideas that I mentioned, they might be something else, like idea that, oh, it doesn't matter, or if I skip one day it's fine, I don't feel like doing it today, or if I do it I will feel too tired, or something else. So you write down those ideas and you argue against them. You kind of prepare your arguments in advance, and when you have them you just reread those arguments to yourself. Of course, this kind of technique is useful when you're using it for the good, and not very useful when you use it for bad things. So I completely forbid you to use this technique for any kind of eating disorder, or for trying to force yourself to um, follow some kind of radical exercise regime, or some kind of radical ideas. um, it should not be used to abuse yourself, or to force yourself, like in a violent way, to do something that is unrealistic. We use this kind of arguing against and behavioral activation when we really need it, like when it's helpful, for example, for treatment of depression, treatment of anxiety, or getting small, steady, how to say, safe change in your life, safe change in your behaviors. It can be used for eating disorders and other horrible things, so please don't use it for bad stuff. And I see you soon. So yes, your home task is writing down all possible thoughts that can be stopping you when you try to do your new behavior, or that can be encouraging you to return to your old behavior, and you write down arguments against those, and you carry these kind of arguments with you. And when you face negative thoughts, you just read them and remind yourself that no, these thoughts are not true, I don't believe them, I don't follow them, and so on. Yes, and I will see you next time again. A bit tired now, so I will go rest. Have good time and leave me comments. I always love reading your experiences and your results and so on. Bye bye.